Hello and welcome to Choral Insights number 2. I thought the first thing we do is review what we talked about last week as far as our posture and our breathing. Remembering to put one foot slightly in front of the other in the instep, separate the width of the shoulders. If you are standing, to stand with the weight on the balls of the feet and the knees slightly bent. And then I talked about breathing. Remember to breathe down and out, all the way around. I'd like to add something today for the fact that we have to compress our air when we sing in order to get any volume at all. So if you would take that, everything we've done so far, take your breath, and then as you slowly move your head back and forth, go a double S. Now, if you put your hand on your stomach, you'll feel that you band all the way around when you do that. And I moved my head so that we could eliminate tension. We don't want that tension to go up into the throat and the neck. It needs to be relaxed. Another way to do that relaxing is called a lip trill. This is socially unacceptable, especially now during the pandemic, but it would be to simply go. Many of you have watched a television program called Mr. Ed and seen the horse do that. Well, it relaxes them and it will relax you, but it can be used other ways too. Incidentally, if you cannot do that, some of you have watched some old Bob Hope movies. You've seen him do what I call a D trill. Usually when a pretty girl walks by. That can be used in place of a lip trill if you are not able to do. Now, we're going to put all of that together. And why do we do the lip trill? Because when you do a lip trill, if you add pitch to it, you almost can't do it with tension. Let's do a few together, and then I'll tell you another added reason that we do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and. Breathe correctly. Good posture. Shoulders back. Now, if I told those of you that are basses that you could sing this note, you would laugh me to scorn. But you just did. And that is the other advantage of the lip trill. It allows you to extend your range upward, usually using falsetto, but you're not really even aware that you do that. So I would invite you to do those things this week. Think about your posture, relaxed shoulders, chest as if you are standing at attention, legs slightly separated, one slightly in front of the other, knees bent, and weight on the balls of the feet. Then take your breath correctly. You can do the to get that banding going, and then do the lip trills with me. You can use this several times this week, if you will, to get yourself ready. Now I would like to go to something called rhythm. A lot of people are confused at the difference between rhythm and beat, so let me introduce you to my little friend, not really, the metronome. The metronome will give you a beat. Here we go. And there it is, a constant beat. It's very annoying, isn't it? Well, when we write music, let's begin with the beat. I'm going to write, sorry, I can't take it either. I'm going to write 8 of those on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm going to put 8 more below. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm not going to go through all the history, we simply don't have time, but we're going to make these into quarter notes by adding a stem. Now each of them has a stem, and these are now quarter notes. And that's what's going to get the beat. So I'm going to remind myself at the beginning that a quarter note gets a beat. Now, remember the old round you learned called Frere Jacques, or Are You Sleeping? Well, let's think how it goes. It goes, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Well, we have a problem. The word John lasts for 2 of those beats, so we can either say, let's tie those 2 together. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Well, they came up with a solution for that too. Instead of using 2 quarter notes, they used, and I'm going very fast right now, I know, they used what we will call a half note. What is called a half note. Now we're good, because a half note is worth 2 quarter notes. A half is worth 2 quarters. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Well, now we've covered quarter notes and half notes. You notice maybe that every 4 beats we start over again. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Well, how are we going to mark that? We're going to use what's called a measure or a bar line. There's a bar line, there's a bar line, there's a bar line, and this is going to be the last bar line, so we're going to make it 2. So we're sure to remember that that's the last one. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. What's next? Morning bells are ringing. Well, let's put quarter notes down here. And this is no longer the end. Morning bells are, we have a problem. I have to fit 2 notes, 2 words into 1 beat. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Well, ringing works fine, but morning bells are, I've got to get twice as many in there, so let me add 2 more. But they're twice as fast. So they're not all quarter notes. These are what are called 8 notes. And in order to make it work, the 8 notes have to have something that goes across the top of them to remind us there's 1 beat, there's another beat, and sometimes they'll put a couple of beats together because you know they're 8 notes. So here we go. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Here are the important beats. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Let's add the bar line. And then the last thing we have to do is ding, ding, dong, perhaps ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Ding, ding, and then dong is 2 beats. So here we go. Now, if I'm saying something that you've known for years, I apologize, but some people will appreciate seeing this. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother, okay, well, let's do it with our beat, shall we? Here we go. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Brother John? Brother John? Morning bells are ringing. Morning bells are ringing. Ding, ding, dong. Ding, ding, dong. What you have done, my friends, is read simple rhythm. You can't do every rhythm that's been written, and next week we're going to go over whole notes and dotted rhythms, and you may get into a few other things besides that. But for right now, you've begun rhythm. I congratulate you, and once again I remind you that if you have any questions, feel free to email me. The address will be on the board a little bit later, and I'll be happy to get back to you on that. Oh, one more thing. We know that a quarter note gets a beat. We marked that right here at the beginning. But how many beats are in a measure? Well, the answer is there are 4. So that's where we get what's called the time or meter signature. The top number tells you how many beats, and the bottom number tells you what kind of note. A 1/4 note gets a beat. It's not always quarter note that gets a beat, so we'll go over that in the future also. But congratulations once again, and we've now finished portion number 2. We're just going to end up now with portion number 3, which is talking about what's going to be used this week in our church service. This week we're going to have our anthem, well, we're going to have our first hymn rather directly after the prelude, immediately after the prelude. And we're going to do something that I perhaps have never done before. I'm going to meld 2 hymns together, hymn number 592 and hymn number 593. When the Church of Jesus, you probably will recognize the tune, you may not know the text. We will do verses 1 and 2, and then we'll just turn the page to 593 and sing the refrain, the chorus, if you will, of Here I Am, Lord. Then we'll do verse 2, then we'll do the refrain. So once again, right after the prelude, we will do hymn 592, When the Church of Jesus, verses 1 and 2, and then we will segue directly into 593, Here I Am, Lord. We'll do the refrain, verse 2, and then refrain. So if you've got a hymnal, please join us. And finally, after the Apostles' Creed, the quartet will be singing a piece called The Potter's Hand in preparation for the sermon. We thank you, and we would invite you to come join us next week when we continue a little bit more with rhythm. Then we'll be going into melody after that. And we invite you to pray the prayer that will be on the screen in just a second. Thank you, and have a good week.